What is going on, y'all? Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com, and today I've got special guest Jordan Carmon on the podcast. Jordan is the man behind Modular Orange Matchstick Studio. He is the brains behind my website, KetoSavage.com, LiveSavage.com, KetogenicBodybuilding.com. He's built out my website and many of my friends' websites, and we just wanted to have a good conversation about business, entrepreneurship, and where the web is going. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation with my good friend and web man, Jordan Carmon. And we are live. Jordan, how are you, brother?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You were here, what was it, like a month or two ago? We were talking shop, and we talked for like an hour and a half, solved all the world's problems. We're like, man, this could be a podcast.
Easy.
So here we are making it a podcast.
That's awesome.
You are my website guy. You have got 3 websites. Is it 3?
3 now, yeah.
3 now. KetoSavage.com, LiveSavage.com, which we have not added any content to, and then KetogenicBodybuilding.com, which is the landing page for the book, basically. But you have been in the web development space. Just kind of give me some backstory on that, man. I want to kind of dive into that.
Yeah, well, my background is in computers, computer science. Started my career at Walmart and then ventured off on my own. We've been doing web, and Modular Orange is our product that we market, and been doing that now for about 7 years, and are just hoping to do our best work and do as many websites as we can for people in a good way.
So Modular Orange is like the SAS, and Matchstick Studio is like the company, right?
Correct.
Is that kind of how you have it broken down?
Yes.
So talk to me about Modular. I guess before we even dive into this stuff, for any of the listeners that are normally listening to keto nutrition, we might talk about keto a little bit, but I kind of want to make this like an entrepreneurship, business-oriented podcast because there's all kinds of good stuff we can dive into there. But as it pertains to web development and Modular Orange as a framework, what kind of sets that apart from all the competition out there? Like, why would people not want to just jump on WordPress?
Yeah, well, don't get me started on WordPress. We might be here all day. But what we're trying to do is just make it simple for people that don't know really anything. And I think a lot of competition out there, a lot of agencies or other companies that offer web services, they like to nickel and dime. They like to overcomplicate it, over-explain all these things that customers don't know. If you're a small business owner, or you're trying to start a new business, or you've had a business for 15 years, you need to be the expert at your business and let someone else handle your utilities. You know, we try to operate Modular Orange as a utility. So just like you would pay for phone service for your business or electricity, it's 2023, you have to have a website. We are going to include everything you need, and you're just not going to have to worry about it. So anytime you need support, help, whatever, call us and we'll help you out. So just trying to make it easy, affordable, and not nickel and dime people.
When I launched my business, Keto Savage, I launched it July 1st, 2016, and I didn't have a web team. I was broke. I built a website out on WordPress, and in hindsight, it would have been because you charged me $95 a month. I don't know if I should have said that out loud. I don't know if you were going to.
That's the price. I mean, it's out. Go to the website. It's out there.
Yeah. So like in hindsight, I didn't have $95 a month then, but it would have been worth my while to figure out how to make $95 a month then, because I spent so much time watching YouTube tutorials on how to build something out on WordPress. Specifically, one day I remember spending 5 hours to try and move a red block like 2 inches to the right and down an inch. And I said, I think I learned my entire, curse word vocabulary during that time. But it was not efficient use of my time whatsoever. And you've been really good at this whole website in a day thing. So when we built Keto Savage, like I built that back in 2016, and then we built Keto Savage out, when was that? That was 2 years ago, maybe?
A couple of years ago.
Yeah. But since then, you've been doing this whole website in a day thing, which is what you did for LiveSavage.com. And then I've had you've done several websites for my friends. But basically, you come out here, you bring your whole team out here, you figure out what their color palette is, what their branding is, what they want to accomplish, and you build out the entire website within like an 8-hour window. and then you give them all the tools that they need to update it, keep it up to date, and then that's $95 a month. Like there's not like some upfront cost. Like I tell that to people, and they're like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Well, I have a question about that too, because we've been hearing that maybe it sounds too good to be true. But the thing is, with we like to come out here because you have a great place, and so it's a little selfish on our part. So we're going to come hang out. You're just slightly too far away for me not to be here every day.
Well, you haven't come to the gym yet.
I know. I need to.
You did bring the weight belt and all your gym clothes today, right?
Got it. We can do.
Okay.
We can do some lifts after this.
Nice.
But so two things. To speak to the pricing, first of all, you're right. I mean, there are tons of DIY options out there that if somebody wants to do that, they can do that. You're going to pay, somewhere between 20 to 40, maybe $50 a month. But then you're on the hook for knowing everything or YouTubing or trying to figure all that out. And especially if you're a service-based business or you're trying to produce your product, do you have time to spend 10, 20, 30, 40 hours figuring out your website? The flip side of that is a lot of times our competitors are going to charge you $5, $10, $15, $30,000 as a one lump sum to set it up, and then charge you every time you need a change. They're going to charge you for that. So we're trying to meet it in the middle. $95 is our price. That's basically saying we're more than DIY. We're doing it all for you, but we're going to build in and include everything that you absolutely need, so that you don't have to worry about anytime you make a change, you're going to,
Well, everybody, I mean, I don't remember what I was paying monthly for WordPress, but with all the plugins and upgrades and bells and whistles that I was building out, I don't think it was any less than that. And it was just a massive headache,
Yeah. Did you ever run into issues with like updating?
Oh, I was the worst, man. Like I would
install
see,
a plugin, it breaks the whole thing.
Yeah, I'd install a plugin, the whole thing would crash, or it would say like I need to record or do an update, and then I would do an update, and then it would like the spinning wheel of death thing. It would never go through, so I would never know half the time if it was working or not, and I just didn't have time to be a WordPress expert. But like I said, I think it was probably around $95 a month for everything, and I was having to do everything. And I tell people, like, I'm not, y'all didn't pay me to say this stuff, and I'm just pretty much talking about y'all's website because I like it. But my friend Chris has built his website through y'all. The gym I go to in Fayetteville, they've built their website through y'all. My brother's probably going to come up here and do some work on the building for me because he's a welder, and he needs a website because he's starting his business, so he's going to meet with y'all. And I tell them all it's $95 a month. And they're like, yeah, but what's the upfront initial cost to get it built? And I'm like, there is none. It's just $95 a month, Dakota, one of my clients, built his website through y'all. So it just makes sense. I don't feel like people realize that it's that low barrier to entry. And when it comes to websites, I'd love to get your take on this, but in business, like for me in my world, in my industry, like having a social following, having a brand, having a way to connect with people is very, very important. But I'll talk to people that are not really in the business world within this day and age, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to get some business cards and I'll be booming. Which I can appreciate the hustle of getting some business cards, but like a lot of people don't have a website in 2023, which to me, like that's just asking for trouble. Like, I mean, do you have a lot of people, I mean, obviously people are coming to you to build a website, but a lot of these people, they already have something, right? Or they just totally bootstrap it from the ground up.
You'd be surprised, and I don't know the stats offhand, but I think it's still something like 30 to 40% of businesses in the U.S. don't have any website at all.
That's wild.
Especially as being in today's day and age, everybody checks the website first. Yeah. Even if you've got the best physical location on the planet, somebody drives by, they're going to check you out first. They're going to do a search. They're going to try to figure out who you are before they walk into that store. So it's about, I would say most people that come to us have already something established there. And maybe it's 10 years old, but that's the last time they did anything. Yeah. But we do occasionally run into people that don't have anything. Startups are another big thing. So if somebody's starting a new business, they're starting from scratch. And then that's where we can come in and be that affordable option to say, yeah, it's $95 a month and we'll handle everything. You concentrate on getting your business cards and starting your business. We'll handle everything else.
And you do that remotely with people too. I mean, I've had the luxury of being able to interact with you in person every time we built the website, but I'm assuming you're doing that via Zoom or something with people in different locations.
Yeah, our normal process, you mentioned the website in a day, which is kind of new for us. We've been doing that for about a year. Our normal process is probably a 3 to 4 week process. And the only reason I say that is just the back and forth that it takes to get the assets that we might need from somebody for their business. But we go through design review. We'll put it up on a test link. You can see everything that you need to see before it launches. And then when you're pleased with it, we launch it.
And that is like people, it's like it's drag and drop functionality for people that want to update things after it's built. Like it's pretty simple and straightforward for them to tweak things, add blog posts, et cetera, et cetera.
If they want to, yeah. So yeah. I'd say most of our customers, part of the reason they come to us is they don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
They want to shoot an email and say, hey, can you update this, or can you change this or add this person? We do that all the time, but we do have the ability. Part of what makes it so that we can do things as quickly as we can and as affordably as we can we control the platform. So we're not using something like WordPress. It's a completely in-house product. It's not open source, so it's super secure, and we control that software in that environment. So then we can do things super quick, give people access if they want the access. It's all from the front end. So you're familiar with WordPress, like you said. WordPress has a back end to it. Yeah. So if you need to move that red block or whatever it is, you're fiddling around with this whole back end framework that you're not seeing what's happening on the page. You just have to hit the preview button or hit publish and then flip over to the live site, and then it didn't move or it's broken or whatever. Flip back, try something else, hit save again. You're just doing this constant back and forth. So our system is all front end based. You sign in, you're on the website. So for those that do want that control to be able to go in and edit things themselves, you just edit it from the website side of things. So if you change a piece of text, it updates it right there. You can see that red block move if that's what you're trying to do. So that's what enables us to do things quickly for people.
And what all do y'all do beyond just the website development itself? Because I think y'all have because I've used y'all for the website development, but y'all also do full-blown branding packages, like making logos and everything, right? That's totally separate though, right?
Yes. So
that's not $95 a month.
It is not, no.
Yeah, what is that?
Those are extra options. Again, those are great for people who've maybe had a brand out there for 10 years. They need it updated. They need it refreshed. Maybe they have a startup. They're starting a brand new business. They need to get everything going. So we offer logo packages, branding packages, any design needs that you might want. Some of the packages, speaking of the business cards, we would include that in some of the packages that we have. But it's a good way to either refresh what you have or get you something brand new. And if you don't have anything, we'll start from scratch and get you a brand that you love and then tailor that with the website as well.
Yeah. My buddy Chris, whom I've known since high school, used y'all to build out his forestry mulching landscaping business. And what was his requirements? He wanted something that looked cool. That was pretty much it.
Pretty much, yeah. He's got a super sick logo. We did that pretty quick because I think he kind of added that on.
Yeah, and he didn't have any idea what he wanted in the logo, right? He just said he wanted like 2 X's or something. Or was that totally y'all?
Well, he gave us the name, and it had 2 X's in it. So then Austin came up with this really cool logo and the color palette and everything, and it turned out really well.
Nice. By the way, totally tangent here. He just got his machine, his big old skid steer, so he's going to get all kinds of pictures. We have to update his website or something with that. That's awesome. So I'm excited for him.
He needs to get it painted. Put that logo on it.
I know, man. He's been he's been putting. I went over to his house the other day. He's putting his logo that y'all made on freaking everything. Like he's got it plastered on his bathroom wall and stuff.
That's awesome.
good branding there, I guess. But y'all do things like app development as well, which is something that I may dip my toe into. We kind of talked about this last time you were here, but I think having an app for what I'm doing specifically would be an efficient way of going about things, apart from using like a Google spreadsheet, which is what I've been doing. And you're talking about the app structure and framework that y'all use is totally different than I'm going to be sounding like I'm not a web developer here. So you just take the mic.
Well, so we're toying around. It's relatively new-ish technology, and I say that to mean the technology has kind of existed for probably 10 years, but it's really picking up steam in the last 2 or 3. And I'm going to do you a prototype just so you can see how it works. But it's essentially based on the web. Mm-hmm. Typical, if anyone's out there that's had an app done or had an app priced, we run into that a lot where somebody will say, I have this idea for an app, and then they'll go get it quoted out, and that like it will come back $200, $300, $500,000 for this app that they have. And it's really, that can go for things that really aren't that hardware intensive that you need all the stuff on your phone for. So what we've done is adopted this newer technology that's essentially, it's a progressive web app is what it's called. And it's all web based. So you don't need all of the like Xcode iPhone stuff. They're like proprietary code base and all that stuff. We can do it web based and then package it up and send it to the app stores. And you can do that with pretty much everything. If you don't need the hardware of the phone, say for something like NFC, which is how people pay, like tap to pay in stores, you can't access that piece of hardware with what we use, but that's rare that people need that. Most of the time, it's like an app like yours where let's do some calculations, store some data, show some charts. We can do all of that with web-based. And it also... It's
all mobile responsive.
All mobile responsive. It'll go to the iPhone, the App Store, the Google Play Store, and it's accessible from the web. So if you are sitting at your computer and don't have your phone on you for whatever reason, although everybody has their phone on them nowadays, but you can access it from the computer as well because it's all just web-based.
What about, are you familiar with Mighty Networks?
No.
So Mighty Networks, it's like they've done something pretty interesting. Basically, they make this social community. So it's kind of like Facebook or like Kajabi, for instance. They make like courses online using that framework. They'll have like a community aspect. But Mighty Networks is basically trying to do that same thing in a mobile responsive app, that people have used, kind of like a social networking app, but you can also build out courses and stuff. But I've never been a fan of Mighty Networks. Like, it's just clunky. It lags really bad. So like with an app like this, could you make it like a social network as well? Or would that be beyond the scope of its functionality?
No, you can essentially do anything you need to. Again, the only limitations are the hardware. And it's not even all of the hardware. If you need the app to access the camera, the progressive web app can do that, because that's another thing people might use it for, or push notifications. Even I think it can even access like GPS and all the other stuff. It's just there's a few little pieces of hardware that it can't do, but anything else, the sky's the limit. So making a social network piece to it, anything you can think of, it can be done. And because it's based on the web and you're not having to use Xcode and all that good stuff, we can make it super affordable. It doesn't cost $200,000. The last one we did, I think they had, their company had been quoted, I think, right around $200,000 for their app, and we did it for 15, I think. So,
what is that? Just like, what's causing all that markup? Is it just all custom coding?
It's part of it is
with the $200,000 version.
Yes, part of it is the old model, I suppose, or the old technology, or when the App Store was originally invented back in 2008, 2009, when all that was coming out. Apple put out their version of like their own code base, so you had to use their tools. I think it's called Swift. It's like a special version of C, and you had to know how to do that. So it was really a very small amount of people could do that and get into it. Now it's gotten better over the years, but there's still, the traditional model is to open up Xcode, use Apple's code to create that one app just for the iPhone, and then you got to go repeat that and do it for Google and Google Play for Android phones, which is all, I believe, in Java. So you have to have different developers with different skills, using proprietary software, and it just takes up a lot of time.
Within the App Store, does Apple like prioritize the ones that are using that Xcode because it's using their framework, or is it totally unbiased?
No, as of right now, it's pretty open. And Apple probably doesn't treat progressive web apps as far as installing it or uploading it to the App Store. They probably frown on it a little bit, but they don't stop anything, if that makes sense. Like they would prefer to not have the progressive web apps because they want people to stay in their walled garden, in their, in their proprietary code base, but they can't stop it. Yeah. So
maybe just turning away too much customer clientele business. Otherwise,
everything's headed towards the progressive web app space anyway. I mean, over time, that's where everything is going to be. I think even there's a lot of larger companies that are moving to progressive web apps because one of the other key features of it is it's faster, loads faster, smaller file sizes. A typical app produced from Xcode for the iPhone is huge. You might download it and it's 60 meg.
Yeah.
Progressive web apps are super small because they're loading from the web. There was a big case study that I think Starbucks put out because they transferred their entire app system from a native app, which is the Xcode route, to a progressive web app, and they saw sales increase something like 40%.
Wow.
Because Starbucks obviously has a lot of stores and they're in a lot of rural areas. So the progressive web app made their app load faster, which led to an increase in sales because people that are out, they have a 3G connection or they don't have a fast internet connection. The progressive web app loads super fast.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense, man. Like I've never had an app, and I've played around with it a little bit in the past, but I've just never really sunk my teeth into it. But I feel like it would be way more efficient, just better look, more professional than what I'm currently doing with just Google spreadsheets, tracking people's macros and getting things dialed in. I mean, that's worked really, really well, but having like an integrative app they're able to have on their phone, get things dialed in, and especially if there's able to be some type of community involvement, which they can interact with other clientele. If I had it in like a group setting, would make a lot of sense. So yeah, we're going to talk shop at some point this year about unveiling that as a possibility. Yeah. I think that would be the next step for sure.
For sure. And I have found over the years that the number one thing people want is that icon in the App Store. So like when people, if they have an app idea and they say how much it's going to cost, they go get all these quotes and they're hundreds of thousands of dollars. And to them, it's like, well, I just wanted my icon in the App Store. Like
that's where my head goes.
I can't afford to pay $300,000 for this app. So anyway, the progressive route, I think, it's up and coming. More and more people are jumping on board with it, including large companies. So I think it's the way of the future, and it's going to make things more affordable to have that icon in the App Store.
Hey, it makes sense, man. I might use my little Keto Savage logo or something.
Yes.
On a totally different direction here, as far as business goes, like just general business, a lot of people in your industry, they'll charge this premium up front, whereas y'all have gone the lower price point, but a subscription model.
Yes.
I've kind of played around with the idea of doing, like I'm working on a course right now, for instance, just kind of make this real life here, tangible to me. I'm building out a course, and I've played around with having a higher price point, single time cost versus a subscription model. What have y'all found pros and cons? Obviously you've found more pros with the subscription model. You've gone that route. What's been kind of the reasoning behind that decision?
Well, there are a lot of reasons. From a purely business perspective, from our business perspective, it's a little bit peace of mind for us. It's a lot easier to track and project and make sure our employees are paid. Yeah. And we don't have to. When we first started our business, we were in that model of it's just one cost. So it's a few $1,000s and that's it. And that's fine as long as things keep rolling in. As long as you can keep getting new projects, great. But with the subscription model for us internally, we're just able to project month to month our gross and net income. And then that allows us then to, when we need to hire, we know what's coming in to be able to do that. From our customers' perspective, we like the subscription model because, again, it's like we treat it like a utility, and we include support because it's inevitable that something might need to change or be updated. If you're an accountant, for instance, you may have a few CPAs at your firm, and one may decide to leave, and you need to update that on the website. Things like that come up all the time, or maybe you're going to be closed and you need to put that on the website. So as a service, then they have access to us to be able to help them do those things versus, again, going into the DIY. Are they on the hook for having to do that, which they probably won't, because if they only log in every 3 months to change something, they forget something.
Yeah.
Forget how to log in, forget how to update it. So from our customer's perspective, it's just a lot simpler to shoot us an email and have one of us get you fixed up in, a couple of days or less, and you keep moving.
Do y'all have many customers, many clients that are doing like website with updated blog posts, or is it pretty much just static websites that they're having as like landing pages, and that's pretty much just not really changing week to week?
I'd say it's probably 80% that. We call those brochure sites. So they're there to sell the business. So any service-based business is great for that. Accountants, lawyers, any service that people just need their brochure online. They need a way for people to check out their business, get an idea of their services, and then contact in some way, whether that's email, call, or hit the contact form. Those are the basics. But then we do have the other 20% are, I would say they're pretty heavy into updating, blogging, doing everything they need to do. And it's funny too, because there doesn't seem to be a gradient to it. It's like 80% have their brochure site and hardly ever touch it. And then the other 20% touch it all the time.
So it's kind of classic 80-20 analysis.
Yes, it's not just there's some that do a few blog posts a year. It's they're either doing none or they're doing 10 posts a month type of thing.
And I'm assuming those people that are changing that much that frequently, like they're doing that, right?
Yes, those are our power users for sure.
Okay, because I was gonna just have Jill start ghostwriting for KetoSavage.com.
She could probably do it. Kate, Jill, we could all do it. Yeah.
There you go. Love it. Well, what do y'all see like in the pipeline? What are you excited about? Like last time we were talking about all this doom and gloom with business, and y'all were talking about hustling and just getting your name, your network, your brand out there more, which I think is what everybody needs to be doing right now. But where do you see the web online space going? Like what y'all call it, Web 3.0 or something like that?
Well, there are a lot of buzzwords which we could get into, which who knows? I'm sure you've seen all the stuff going on with crypto recently. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crashing a little bit.
Kind of.
A lot of it. So a lot of those buzzwords that came from the crypto space and from Web 3.0 and decentralized web and all these, like, I kind of have to take a step back because I'm not a buzzword guy at all. In fact, I despise buzzwords. So to me, when I hear things like that, it's always seemed a little scammy to me, which turns out probably was the case.
Yeah.
But when I hear something like decentralized web, that's kind of like having your own website.
Yeah.
We do run into a lot of people still today that their entire online presence is a Facebook page that nobody's seeing.
Which is scary.
Or they'll have an Instagram page that nobody is seeing, and then they wonder why, even if they have a lot of followers, which I want your opinion on this too, even if you have a lot of followers, a lot of times the algorithm may not be showing it to the people that you want.
Yeah.
Now those, like you that have that algorithm figured out.
I do not have
it's
it figured
great for you have it figured out more than most of our business customers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think I shake my booty enough.
Probably not. That's what it takes.
That's like the thing on TikTok
to get on the Explore page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most like small businesses that we work with, if they struggle to, again, I'll go back to like, maybe they're a lawyer, all they have is a Facebook page, and they'll post something, nobody will see it, and they wonder why, which there are lots of reasons why that's the case, but they're still living in this other controlled environment by one large company.
Yeah.
Whereas like we tout and support owning your own space online. So that's what we've been saying for years now. You need your web space online that you own. You can control what it says. You can make the updates or have the updates made. When somebody searches for you, they're coming to your place, not Facebook, not Instagram. They're seeing you, your personality. That's another thing that's huge for businesses, because there are a lot of the same types of services that are offered, but every business is unique to who they are, their employees, their mission, their goals. You can showcase that off by having your own space online. And obviously, I think, at least for our industry, what we're trying to do is where the market is headed.
Yeah.
Especially in the small business world. We run into people all the time that say they were given a quote to do a website for $10,000. They can't afford $10,000. We want to make it affordable and less of a headache for those people. So we're just going to keep pursuing that. I listened to your manifesto.
Oh yeah.
For the year, which I loved. We sort of do something I don't call it a manifesto necessarily, but we do something similar every year. We kind of have a theme for the year. And this year for us is always our best work.
Nice.
So no matter what it is, if we're doing a branding project, if we're doing a website, no matter what it is, we're always going to give every single customer our best work. It may be a logo that's a very simple logo and is only 2 hours of work. That's going to be our best 2 hours.
Yeah.
It may be a large custom built website or an app that we're doing that takes 1,000 hours. Well, those are going to be the best 1,000 hours we can put into it. And best work doesn't mean complicated. It doesn't have to mean convoluted. Best doesn't mean it takes a really long time. It's just when we're working, we're going to work at the best level that we can. And I should say it also doesn't mean perfect. We're not going to get everything right all the time, but as long as we're always focused on doing our best work, then in the end, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I feel like when you're pursuing mastery of anything and you're just doubling down on it and you're not cutting corners, whether or not it works, whether or not your customer's happy with it, which hopefully they would be, but even if they're not, you don't have to like hang your head about anything because you did everything that you could. There's been multiple times with us in the business where Crystal and I have been like losing sleep and looking at each other like, I don't know if this thing's going to work or not. But we've never half-assed anything.
Yeah.
And I think never half-ass anything, if for nothing else, it lets you, be at peace with the outcome. And I think there's a lot of value in that because so many people half-ass everything and they're always just filled with this doubt and self-regret and remorse about what they would have been, could have been, should have been if they had just put forth all the effort. And if you never half-ass anything, you never have to worry about that. Yeah, so
I agree.
100%, man.
I also think patience is huge, especially, in anything you do, whether it's working out or business or anything. Fishing, especially fishing. I do think some people can get caught up in not wanting to wait for results.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes time. You gotta get in the gym every day, and it's gonna take time to produce the results that you want. You're not gonna do one squat session and then go to competition, right?
Do a lot of people build a website and think like the whole build it and they will come mentality, that they think it's just gonna like the whole website, the whole World Wide Web's gonna come knock at their door?
That still exists. I call that the field of dreams mentality. Yeah. It still does exist. It's not real. It's waned over the years, but I blame it on the .com bubble back in the early 2000s because that's kind of what was happening then. I mean, obviously the bubble burst, and people ended up losing a lot of money, but there is still some of that mentality where, well, I just have to be online and then money is going to start rolling in.
Yeah.
No, if you have a business, whatever your business is, you need to be working hard every day in your business, trying to make the best product for your or service for your customers. Where we can help is making sure that what you're doing is elevated on the web.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like you're saying, it comes through with effort. You can't just put something out there and then not do anything about it and then expect somebody to pay you for it.
I kind of think of having a website like I do think of having a podcast and having a newsletter. Like I look at the Instagram profiles that we have, the Facebook profiles, the YouTube profiles, and we've got a lot of hours in YouTube videos and content online. But like you said, we don't own any of it. I mean, we made it all. It's all our content, but Instagram has shut me down 3 times in the past. Like I'm kind of disillusioned by Instagram. I don't feel secure with Instagram per se. But like with the newsletter and with the podcast and with the website, like I own those outright. I can change it. I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. That's honestly one of the reasons I've never let people sponsor the podcast. Like I am not beholden to anybody's request or requirements. Like I can literally do whatever I want and say whatever I want. Obviously I want to say what is right, what I believe in, and what I think would be respectful towards my audience, my listenership. But having a website is just honestly insurance towards not letting the other powers that be, like the Instagrams and the Facebooks of the world, dictate whether or not I'm able to get in contact with my people, because the people are the reason I have any success in life. And if I can't get a hold of them, then I'm, fish out of water. So the website just lets me do that.
Yeah. And what kind of content have you had taken down?
So my Instagram, I lost my Instagram profile 3 times.
The whole thing?
Yeah, whole thing. I lost it for the first time. I don't remember how long. The last time I lost it for like 6 to 8 months or something. So I lost it for so long that I built a new Instagram and just assumed that I would never get it back. And then I randomly got it back.
What was their reasoning? What reason did they give you for that?
Like I still don't know, because this was during the whole pandemic, and there were a lot of people in the keto space, talking all kinds of stuff about the pandemic, and there was a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a whole nother podcast conversation right there. But I never posted anything political. I never posted anything controversial. My last picture on Instagram was a fish that I grilled, and I guess Instagram doesn't like fish or something. I don't know. But they took my profile down. I was gone for like 6 or 8 months or something, and then I just randomly got it back one day, and everything was as good as new. So I have no idea. I don't know. I think I was just caught in the crossfire, maybe a glitch in the system. I'm not sure, but it was
just
weird.
Kind of like some sweep, and you just got caught up in it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that think there's a bunch of shadow banning going out there, in which case, like, people will post things and then the algorithms won't elevate those posts to see, a lot of people won't see them. And I have not figured out the algorithm. Like, I've got a handful of followers, but I don't, like, my following count has not grown drastically. Like, I don't know what the algorithm is, and I don't post near as frequently as I should. I should probably post a lot more than I do. But honestly, the podcast and the newsletter, I put a lot more effort into, because it's real. Like like we're having a conversation right now. You're sitting right here in front of me. It's just real. It's legit. And like, it's a longer format medium. And with Instagram, with TikTok, with these short format mediums, your real message can't really get conveyed, and people can misconstrue it. And people are just trying to do those buzzword things to get people's attention. You can't really do that with a podcast. And with a newsletter, like I've got a weekly newsletter that's several paragraphs long. Like, people read that whole thing and then they'll respond to me and I'll engage with them. It's just a real conversation. Like, I love the responses that I get from that. I don't feel that way towards Instagram. I don't have a TikTok, and I like the YouTube, but yeah, like the podcast and the newsletter just feels more natural to me, more organic.
Newsletters are great. And controlling your message, like you're saying, with your own space is important. I'm curious to get your thoughts too on kind of the fracturing of social media. Obviously, what's going on with Twitter and everything else. There's more and more social media things that are popping up that people are kind of jumping to. And I guess my question is around like numbers, because we will run into folks all the time who want that follower count. You know, the follower count is huge, but or is like paramount to them. But then when you post, how many people are actually seeing it? Do you have to give Facebook, Instagram, whatever, money for your actual followers to see it? If you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, but you have 1,000 newsletter subscribers, my argument is usually always that 1,000 newsletter subscribers that chose to sign up for your newsletter, say, yes, send me emails, I want to read them, is way more valuable to you and your business than that follower count on Instagram.
1,000%. I feel like if I obviously don't want to lose my Instagram again, but if I did lose it, I wouldn't really be worried about it. Like, I don't think it would really affect the business at all. I mean, in my newsletter list, like, it has like a 44% open rate. And I think you that's probably incredible. Know more than me. The average is like 20%, I think. So like 44% of my list opens and reads the newsletter. Like, to me, I take a lot more pride in that than how many followers I have on Instagram, you know?
Yeah.
And they respond back to the emails too. Like, I like engaging with these people. Like, and my newsletter is super laid back. Like, I'll talk about things that I'm doing personally. I'll talk about questions that I have. People will send me recommendations. So yeah, it's just fun for me.
Yeah. Way more personal. You can get to know your audience a lot better than possibly just posting something on Instagram and walking away.
Yeah, 100%. I want to talk about owning a business. You know, how long have you been doing this now?
7 years, 7.5 years almost.
7.5 years. So we've been, so I launched Keto Savage 2016. I launched Keto Brick March 2018. So yeah, pretty good while for both of us. And a lot of people, we have different businesses. Like, you have, you know, a software as a service. You have a website development. You've done all the coding yourself. With the Keto Brick aspect, I've got a ton of overhead. I've got, you know, a physical product that we're shipping out and stuff like that. The grass always looks greener on the other side when it comes to business. What do you like about what you do? What drives you crazy about what you do? And like, where do you see it going? Like, what do you want to happen? Because I've been talking to business owners a lot lately, and I think it's therapeutic for people that own businesses to just simply shoot the breeze with one another, because sometimes you get so entrenched in your dark tunnel, black abyss of what you're going through that you just assume that the world's out to get you. But sometimes just, you know, bullshitting with other business owners is therapeutic. So yeah, lay it on me, man. Yeah. What you got going on right now?
Well, I mean, I obviously love the technology pieces of it. I do love technology. I've always been sort of jealous of business owners that have physical products. Because, and maybe we're having a similar thought, but I always looked at a physical product as something that you could control without having other people give you their input, if that makes sense. Obviously, you want customers to buy it and you want their feedback and you want to make the product better, but at the end of the day, you're creating a physical product that you like, and then you can just sell as many of those as you can. Another reason we kind of went to the software as a service model and productized it a little bit was because I would rather build a technology one time and then be able to offer that and improve it over time versus having to do everything custom all the time. So to me, the thing I love the most is the technology, what goes into it, how we can continue to improve it with new features, updates, all that good stuff. That's what drives me with the technology piece of it. The thing that can sometimes be hard is just people. You know, we deal with lots of different people, and I love getting to know other people's businesses. That's one of the things that is super important to me and my team, especially with the website and the days. We can sit with you for hours and just get to know you, get to know your business, all that good stuff. But then every once in a while, we'll come across somebody that's got all these ideas of the way some things should go, and those days can be kind of tough. Yes. Yeah. But they're few and far between. I would, 99.9% of all of our clients are incredible people, great to work with. Just those, every once in a while we'll get those few days that's maybe a little irritating, but Yeah, technology, getting to know people. That's what we strive to do.
I would think like from just a networking standpoint, you're in a pretty good position because you're having so many different industries coming to you, and you just meet a lot of really cool people, I would think.
We do, and a lot of times we'll become clients of their businesses as well. If somebody's got a cool product and we do a website for them, we'll become customers ourselves. I like that aspect of it. I don't, obviously I want us and our team to be super successful. So as much business as we can do, as much income as we can bring in, I want to do that. I don't know that I want to go the route of becoming like some huge business that just sells, and then all these relationships that we've made over the years with people, we just sell off those relationships just to make a buck. I don't know what the future holds, but because we like getting to know our clients so well, and the camaraderie that we have with everyone, I just want to make sure that we're doing the best we can for them and anybody they might refer to us, because if we get a referral, that's huge. That means they thought we did a good job. We feel like we did a good job, and they told their friends or family about it. Yeah. That goes, honestly, sometimes a lot further than any paid advertising we might do. Somebody saying, we love what you did. I have a friend with a business. Yeah. Do it for them too.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of people from the outside looking in, they just assume the goal of any business is just to get bigger for the sake of getting bigger. But I feel like there's definitely a tipping point at which simply getting bigger just to get bigger diminishes the fulfillment that comes from the business in the first place and why you started it. So like I think about what I've built, and if I had to sacrifice a relationship that I have with my crew or the customers that we have or the clients that I've had over the years, like it wouldn't be fun to me anymore. Like I wouldn't want to just build it to sell it off at some points, because then, I may have more money in the bank, but it's like, I don't want to hang my hat on that per se. Whereas like now, I'd like to have more money in the bank, but I don't want to sacrifice my integrity to do so. You know, like that it's not a worthwhile trade-off in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. And you see it happen a lot. It's unfortunate. It kind of happened to us this past week. We ran into an issue with a company that we have trusted for 10 plus years. And I think that's exactly what happened to them. So it was a smaller company when we started working with them. They were great. Never had any issues. They did end up selling to a larger company about 6 or 7 years ago, but we stuck with them at that point. They said they were going to remain independent, do their own thing. They were just being acquired by this other company. Okay, cool. And they were right. They did that for years, but then we started getting emails a few months ago saying, hey, we're basically transferring everything over to this other larger company, who obviously didn't care about, I'm sure we were small time to them. Yeah. So it was like pulling teeth to get any answers out of them. I think I waited on hold for hours and hours and hours just trying to figure something out. And that's definitely never a place that I want to ever get to with something. If in the event that we're able to build a business that is sellable, it would be really tough. I want to do a lot of due diligence to make sure that if that's ever the case, that they're not going to lose who we are, the soul of kind of what we built, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes total sense, man. I feel like there's an old parable. I don't know, I'm going to butcher it if I try, but there's some guy that was like off the shore of Hawaii fishing or something like that. I'm going back to the fishing analogy here. You're a big fisherman for the listeners that do not know. And he was like, he brought a bunch of fish in, and the guy on the shore was like, man, with that much fish, you can start a business, you can do all this stuff. And he's like, well, why would I want to do all that? He's like, you can grow, you can expand, you open up multiple ships, you can have a fishery, you can just grow and grow and grow. And then he's like, well, why would I want to do that? And the guy's like, well, then you could sell it all off and then fish at your leisure and then spend time and have a siesta with your family in the evenings. He's like, well, that's what I do right now. So it's like, I feel like people lose sight of how great they have it in the moment just to always chase the next goalpost, but they don't even realize why they're chasing the goalpost. And I've tried to be a lot more present as of late, especially now that I have a kid. And you have a kid too. How old's your kid again?
Yeah. I have a 3.5-year-old and a 1-year-old.
3.5 and a 1-year-old. I feel like, man, having kids, like I didn't know this before I had kids, and people that have kids tell you what you're gonna expect when you don't have kids, and you're like, yeah. You just get tired of hearing it. Mm-hmm. But then when you have a kid, like I'll have all the stress of owning a business, all the stress of everything that I have to do with throughout the day, and then I come home, and Rigel doesn't care about any of that shit. He just looks up at me and smiles, and like it's not worth it for me to place myself under unnecessary stress for a reason that isn't truly going to bring me fulfillment if it means not being present in the moment.
Yeah, totally.
And I think as long as you have a tight grip on that, and you have like a proxy for progress there, and you don't lose sight of that, then you can grow as big as you want to grow. But if you ever have to lose sight of that just for the sake of growing, it's not worth it anymore. Yeah. At least not to me.
I totally agree. It's a weird equation. It's like another weird variable in the equation when you have kids, because I've told people my whole life I'm not really motivated by money. Like that's not what gets me out of bed in the morning. Just money to have money. But then, you have kids, and it's like, yeah, I want them to have a good life now. So yeah, you have to find this balance of being present, also hustling when you need to hustle, having money in the bank so that you can provide for your children. It's a totally weird equation to have to balance like every day.
But if you had all the money in the world, and like part of you thought that would present them with a lot more opportunity, if you could ask them down the road, they probably would have just said, "Hey, I wanted more time with you."
Absolutely.
It's like you always have to have that in the back of your mind too. Because like time, it doesn't cost anything to spend time with them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's a weird balance because they got to eat too. So
yeah, it's cool though. They keep you honest. They keep you very honest. What's exciting for 2023? You're going to be hustling the websites in a day more, you think, or where do you see the business going? What's in the pipeline?
Yeah, just do as many as we can. Honestly, we're super motivated by getting people onto a better platform, and just helping people understand that it doesn't have to be difficult. I think that blocks businesses up sometimes, is they think, well, I can't change my website because maybe they had a horrible experience, or maybe they paid tens of thousands of dollars for it. They don't like it. It's not doing anything for them, but they're afraid to make the jump because they don't want to go through that again. Yeah. So I'm here to say we make it super easy. And we just want to see businesses doing the right thing on the web this year as much as possible. We're going to keep doing as many modular oranges as we can. I like the websites in a day because, again, selfishly, we get to sit and get to know the client and their business a lot more intimately, I think, that way. And it also selfishly allows us to get everything done. It's
a lot more efficiently, I would think.
A lot more efficiently. That's another way we make it easy, because we understand, let's say you're a business owner and you need a new website, but then we need to maybe get some photos or some logo files or something from you, but you're working in your business all day, every day, and then you go home and you have kids and you want to spend time with those kids, and then sending the email with those logo files just keeps slipping and slipping and slipping, and that can cause things to take a little bit more time. But if we can just get a day with you and say, bring your laptop, and then when we need that logo file, we can just get it right there, or anything we need to do with domain names or anything just happens all at once. So I love them. Hopefully the team loves them too. Sometimes they can be a little stressful, getting everything done all in one day, but we've got a team of 4 people that spends all 8 hours, or, spending the whole day putting the website together as quickly as we can. And then it's kind of fun because at the end of the day, we'll do a little celebration, a little launch celebration, take a little video of it, and try to make it fun.
No, I think it's great. Like I said at the beginning, y'all not paying me to say this. I wanted to get you on the podcast. I vouched for y'all 100%. I met y'all through my uncle who built his website with y'all. And then now I've built 3, and I've probably referred I don't even know how many people do y'all. A lot of people. And my brother's going to, I mean, they're going to keep coming.
We appreciate it for sure.
It just works out well. Y'all are super legit. The website looks great. Anybody that's listening should go check out my website, ketosavage.com.
Absolutely.
To see how great it looks so that they can then go to your website, which is?
modularorange.com. So that's where.
That's the best way to get a hold of y'all?
That's the best way. It's got all the features, examples, like anything you could be looking for. And we're super easy to talk to. We don't, again, we don't charge anything up front. We do all the work for you and make sure you're really happy before you ever get a single invoice. So the site's up and launched before we send any invoices out. I always joke or tease people that come in for website in the day because, usually they're blown away by us being able to do this. And then by the end of it, they're like, how can I pay you? How can I pay you? What do we need to do? And my joke is always, well, we just wanted to get you in here and butter you up and get you to really like us. And then now then we'll send you an invoice. So we would just want to make sure people are super happy with what they have. If they're ever not happy, like, let us know because we're going to make it right.
Yeah, no, 100%. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting a good fight.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for letting me come back out here.
For sure, man. So modularorange.com.
That's right.
And y'all have a podcast that's been in hibernation a little bit, right?
A little bit. We've got, I don't know, something like 40 something episodes that are out there. A lot of it is pretty evergreen content. That's, if you want to search for the Matchstick Studio podcast, there's a lot of good evergreen podcasts on there about design or best practices for the web, business tips. There's probably a couple episodes of me ranting about buzzwords that I hate. It is in hibernation at the moment, but
we'll get it fired back up.
Looking to get it fired back up soon.
Heck yeah. Well, I'll link out to the website, the podcast, everything, make it easy for people to find y'all. And until next time, man. Cool. We'll build out another website, I'm sure, here soon. We'll talk about that app this year for sure.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Take care, brother.
All right. Thank you.